They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Night of the Living Dead is considered to be one of the greatest horror films of all time, and with 2018 marking its 50th anniversary, I figured that we should take another look at this fright-filled classic. Made on a shoestring budget, George A. Romero and a small crew made a film that would influence generation upon generation by creating the modern zombie we all recognize today. Before this film, a zombie was someone who was hypnotized or under a spell, oftentimes being voodoo. Night of the Living Dead was the first to have its zombies to be reanimated corpses with a hunger for flesh. This idea would go on to inspire countless movies, comics, TV shows, and video games. Not only did this film seemingly create one of the biggest film genres, but many consider the movie a masterpiece because of its subtle messages about culture in the 1960s, whether intentional or not. 1968 was a prominent year for civil rights activism, with two major events including the assassination of Martin Luther King and the Fair Housing Act. Needless to say, tension was high, with many protests and violence out on the street. The film itself delves into this with the lead, Duane Jones, butting heads with the rest of the cast. His race is never brought up, but as you see in the film, the tension of it is definitely there. And then there's the ending.
Alright, Vince, hit him in the head, right between the eyes.
Many film scholars have analyzed this scene as a take on the assassination of civil rights figures Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. It's hard to deny that the film makes some statements of the issues of society in the 60s and the treatment of African Americans. But the irony of it all is that it was never intended this way. Many interviews with Romero have pointed out that they never cast the character of Ben with race in mind.
The actor who played Ben was very concerned, and almost the only one who was concerned about his being African American. We were going, hey, come on, man, it's 1968. We're all past all of that. Jack Russo and I wrote the script. The character in the script, we assumed him to be white. When Duane agreed to play the role, we didn't change the script. The same things would have happened to him if the actor had been white.
And the original ending of the film had the protagonist surviving. Jones was the one to come up with the famous ending, being quoted on saying that he thought the black community would prefer to see him die in a way as he described as symbolic and corny. The same year Night of the Living Dead came out, North Vietnam and Viet Cong forces were attacking South Vietnamese targets. This was known as the Tet Offensive, and resulted in many casualties from both sides, and both sides considering it a victory. The US and South Vietnam, in retaliation, reclaimed all lost territory and wiped out most of NLF forces. However, across the pond, domestic report for the Johnson administration had been weakened, and coverage of the events gave the public the impression that an overall victory in Vietnam was not imminent. The media and the tensions of the public played into the film's success. Again, not only was this type of film very uncommon at the time, but the combination of its very impressive effects for the time and the use of black and white gave the film the realistic feel that it had at the time. Back when the film was released, news coverage was shot in black and white, along with the grisly images that most households would see on the news. It wasn't really that hard to separate the two visuals. It's events like this, along with the clever symbolism that has given Night of the Living Dead the impact it has. It has also influenced all forms of media in future generations, but has also shown a grim reflection of the current time it was in. It's why this film has been loved and remembered through all the years, and why it will continue to terrify future generations.